What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Rob Bifo here with another Hot Toys review, and today this might be surprising to many of you who are familiar with the channel, or familiar with me and just my interests and the things that we can report on and talk about on the show and everything like that. You would know that I am a huge MCU, just comic book fan in general, comic book movie fan, huge fan of that stuff. But it might be surprising and may even be a bit, some could consider sacrilegious, if you will. But this is actually my very first MCU hot toy. Now, it's not my first Marvel hot toy because I did recently pick up the Punisher War Machine edition, which is an amazing figure. I'll have a review up for that here shortly. I was going to be doing that one prior to this one because this is actually one of the latest additions to the collection here, but he might be having a very limited stay. I'm not sure if I'm going to be keeping this guy. As amazing as he is, like I said, it is my only MCU figure at the moment, and right now, I don't have any thing to really pose him with. And he's very big, so he would essentially take up like pretty much 2 seconds of the detoff, or I have to put him in the Besta. You know how it is. Anyone out there who has a Hulk figure, you know how it is. Now, this one personally, this would be one to get, in my opinion. Like if you didn't have a Hulk, in my opinion, this is the one to get. But we'll obviously we'll get into that a little bit more. I'll give my thoughts on them as we actually get into the unboxing and the review phase. I'm excited to actually get this thing out of the box and take a closer look at it because I only had it out just for inspection purposes when I purchased it. You may be familiar if you missed it before. You can go check on the channel. I actually got this at a toy show, so I have the highlight there. We did an unboxing of it and a preview of it kind of on stream. So I really have only had it out of the box then, and then just prior to purchasing, I inspected it. So that's really, I haven't really had too much time to play around with him or put him in any poses or do anything with him really. He's just been kind of chilling in the box. So without any further ado, let's get everything out of the box and take a look at everything it comes with. All right, guys. So as you can see here, we're going to take a quick look at this box. And as you can see, it's massive. Like, the boy is huge. Like, for instance here, I mean, you can see it actually takes up, like, this is the end of my desk. And in any other video, you don't even see the end of my desk. That gives you some idea, Just if you don't believe how big it is, as you can see, this box alone is 20 inches long. And then it's about 16 inches wide. So we're looking at a 20 by 16 thing, and I'm not gonna lie, this thing is actually it's pretty heavy. It's far heavier than any other Hot Toys box that I've ever kind of had to pick up. I'll tell you that much for sure. So we might be a little limited on what I can do with the box in this area. But I've taken the thing out of here because again, he does add a lot of weight. So once we take a quick look at the box, we'll take a look at, the styrofoam and how he was all packed up and everything. Then we'll get everything out and take a closer look. But first off, I really actually love this box. It's nice and vibrant, has a really good depiction of the character himself. It has a lot of this, kind of like tribal painting that he has on him in the Gladiator scene, kind of spread throughout. The little cracked Hulk logo is good. Gladiator looking good with the Thor Ragnarok logo down here. And then on this side, you just get a quick little image of the rest of his axe carries over from here. So the image just kind of continues on to the side. That's pretty cool. And again, the Hulk logo. And then more on this side, you get the Hulk logo again, but then you have more of that kind of like tribal paint pattern on the box itself. On the top, it just says Thor Ragnarok there. And you can, again, there's his hammer extending over to the top of the box. And then on the back, you just have your classic Hot Toys credits and everything like that. And that's pretty much it. Now let's get them out and actually take a look at how everything's packaged up. All right, so when you actually go to get this section out of the box, there's actually like a little handle up here. Might be kind of hard to see, but there's a divot in the styrofoam right here underneath the instructions. So you actually can grab that, and it's cut out there, a little segment for you to actually pull up on it. And this is like harder styrofoam, so it's sturdy, and that's how you actually get this thing out of the box. As you can see, this takes up the entire length of and width of the box. So it's packaged in very well. Then he'll be secured in here with this kind of like saran wrap going around it. We just pop him off. And then here you go. First thing you gotta do is get his axes out of the way, or his weapons, which these look really, really nicely done. We will take a closer look at these, obviously, once we get everything out, but first impressions of them are great. Paint job's really well done. I like the little bits of weathering on them. As you can see, this is a beefy boy here. Like, I'm gonna have to move everything out of the way just to be able to take a closer look at him, because right now he's gonna be really up in your face, but your first impressions is, yeah, that's a Gladiator Hulk, right? That's, he's got a good Ruffalo likeness. He looks spot on really to how he looked in that movie, in the Thor Ragnarok film, which I really love that movie. I know a lot of people, for some reason, didn't seem to like that movie. It's honestly one of my favorite Marvel movies, but yeah, so first impressions is he looks amazing. Um, and let's like I said, let's get everything actually out because I don't even have enough room to mess with anything right now. So once I get everything out, we will take a closer look. All right, guys. So here is everything that he comes with here out of the box. I know it really, I say this a lot with a lot of figures, and then I always follow it up with the same thing. So I'm just gonna say it now. I know it doesn't seem like a lot because it's really not a lot of stuff, but when you think about it, what more does he need to come with? Now, the only thing he doesn't come with, which I don't really know if I blame them or not, and I can totally understand why he does not have one of these, and that is a stand. So this big boy doesn't have a stand, and it makes sense just because of how big he is. So it'd be a very large stand. So I take that with any grain of salt. I'm not sure if any of the other iterations of the Hulk figures from Hot Toys came with stands either. Like I said, this is my first one, so not only just my first Hulk, it's my first MCU figure in general. So that being said, though, let's take a closer look at everything here. So let's get into the weapons first because I really like these. So as my camera just like see how shiny that is. The light's just picking it up. Boom! It looks really nice. But you can see some like weathering detailing in here. You got like nicks. And you got some like dirt and grime down here. Let me turn the ISO down on this real quick. Pick it up better. Yeah, that get rid of a little bit of the glare on there for you. So you can see there's some nice like dirt effects running through it. So it's not just like a solid plastic. See if I can bump it down even more. There you go. That's the lowest ISO setting, right? Actually, no. Stand by. Technical difficulties. Here we go. Yeah, this is it. So Um, but as you can see, I really like the paint job on this. It's not just like a clean glossy finish. I mean, it does have a shine to it. You can obviously tell like it picks up the light very well, but it has all this like dirt and grime all throughout, little nicks all over it. I think they did a really good job with these. They did a good job of making them look metal and then making them look used. So I really like that. Then it has this little part right here, which replicates a rubber grip, but is not a rubber grip. It is actually just like a hard plastic material. Then in addition to that, you have the axe, which is a little bit darker. Like throughout here, it's more of like a gunmetal. And then it has like the shiny like silver on the blade portion. And again, I like the little detailing here. Like this is actually like a nick in the blade itself. Styrofoam on my hand. So right here, it's actually a divot inside the blade, and I really like that. Then it's got like on the inside all these little, scrapes and scratches and paint being weathered off here, and I really like that. I like anything like weathering is always one of my it's almost like one of my pet peeves with a lot of like some Hot Toys things that come out and they're just like a little too clean. And this, they definitely did not have any of this. I have no complaints with it being too clean. Like they have the weathering going even down throughout like the pole here. And again with the kind of rubberized look, even though it is just a hard plastic here for the grip. And that is pretty much all there is with that. Now let me bump the ISO back up to go over the rest of this stuff. So we'll take a look at the helmet now. So this is how it comes out of the box. And, like, I think they did a really good job with the, like, hair here. I don't even know what you would really call this, but it is like hair. I don't know really what material they used for this. It's almost like I mean, it's kind of like hair. It's almost like a broom, but they did a really good job. It feathers out really well, holds its shape. In the box, in order for it to keep this shape, they actually have a cutout in the styrofoam for this part. So you'll have like a square in here, and then a little sliver rectangle that comes up and it goes down the entire way. So this sits in there like that, unhindered, so it's nothing's being pushed down on it. Keeps it from lets it hold its shape. So that was a really good thinking on their end. But with the helmet too, as you can see, they have some really nice weathering and like battle damage done to it. Very fantastic job on this. I think this paint job looks incredible. Lots of like scrapes in just running throughout with different color paint on the inside. I think it looks really good. Then just the detailing in general, like you have these little like hooks, and they're just there for aesthetic. They don't actually do anything. They're just molded onto it as one part of the sculpt, but it adds to the effect for sure. Now with this, you get these are packaged separately. These are like the little uh I don't even know what you would call these, like side guards for the helmet, and they just pop in right here like so. And they did a pretty good job with this. It's pretty seamless. You don't really notice it. I'm sure if I would have brought this out with these fully attached, I'm sure none of y'all would have noticed. And that's not any slight at you. It's just, it really does just look like kind of built in there. It looks like one piece. You have to be looking for it or know about it to even really see the gap. The gap is there. But like I said, you don't really see it. It looks, just as it's part of it. So there is the helmet. Then we get 3 sets of hands. So you get 2 fists, and they are different. So as you can see on the left side, he has like this. I'm colorblind, so bear with me here. This is like a bluish purple. I don't know which it is. You can correct me in the comments if you want. It's not going to matter. I'm going to get it wrong because I'm colorblind. So I'm not 100% colorblind. I'm color deficient. So I only see like 50% of the spectrum. So I know this is a blue or a purple. I just don't know which. So this one has that on it though. Then this one has like the grayish brown wrap on it, which is consistent with the rest of his uniform, which we'll see in a little bit here. But I really like, again, they did a fantastic job with the weathering on this thing. So like you can see like the armor on the like this hand, for instance, it has a bunch of scrapes, different paint colorings, and then on his hands, the individual seams are done very well in between. A lot of the times they just, when it's just one like single mold like that, it kind of bleeds over and just looks like a big plastic blob. Not with this. And they even have a really nice paint job on the cloth wrap portion here. You can see like individual weavings going in between the fingers. That looks really nice. And then the same for this one. You can really see all the weaves in there, and it looks really nicely done with different highlights and lowlights throughout to make it look very realistic. And then again, the nice weathering job on this. The hands and the armoring, the paint in general on this entire figure is very well done. Then you have 2 open hands which replicate kind of the same exact armor with like the same nicks and everything on it. So that's good, makes sense. It would be consistent because the only thing that's changing is his hand, not the armor in this section. So, but elsewise, the fingers look really good. With this, I actually have completely open fingers. Even the nails look really good. Looks really nice. And on the inside, you have these. I don't really know what this is for. If it's just to have it, the little holes in his hand, because he doesn't have anything to hold for this. So someone could let me know down in the comments if it's just here for flexibility purposes, for like rigidity, just so it holds up better over time. I'm not 100% sure why the holes are there on the open-fisted hand. Maybe someone can let me know down below. But I would imagine it's just there for stability purposes, like longevity wise. Like I guess if it was one solid sculpt, gravity, because of the material of it, would kind of warp and pull down on it. That's my guess. Not 100% sure, but it might be kind of hard to see because it's like a green blur, a green blob for the most part, but they have very nice skin pigmentation throughout here. Even for like the hand, they have some like dirt and grime on his palm here. And again, with like the weaving of the cloth here, they have it like pinched in the sculpt itself, so it looks like cloth. Again, man, they did a fantastic job with pretty much everything as far as paint and sculpt on this, in my opinion. So now we'll take a look at the head sculpt here. This is the angry head sculpt, or the battle head sculpt, whichever one you would want to describe it as. And again, the freaking paint and sculpt on this is immaculate. I think it looks so well done. The likeness of Ruffalo and the Hulk in general is like spot on. You can see like even if my camera will focus here, You can even see a shine. They have a nice gloss on the teeth, like on the gum line. See that? Like that is some attention to detail here. And it really brings it out with this one because he's pretty much the size of like a quarter scale figure. So he's a 6 scale though, just because given the size of the Hulk. But since they have so much more room to work with, this detail isn't really something you would normally see on like a 6 scale figure. It's there, but it's not as easy to actually see because you're working with a much smaller area. But I mean, all the teeth individually look fantastic. They're actually more of a little bit of yellow, but they're coming through as like a pristine, clean white just because of my bright light shining down on it. But you have the nice gloss in the eye, the paint, the skin pigmentation. I mean, look at this. You can see like the wrinkles on his face. See that? Like that looks incredible. Like this, the wrinkles and everything. And it might surprise you. Now, well, actually, it might not surprise you, but you might be wondering what the hell this is, right? So what this is each head sculpt actually, you can see, like I said, you probably wouldn't have known this, I mean, unless you did research on it and everything, but if you're just looking at it, you would never know. They did a fantastic job of hiding the seam. But this head actually detaches right here. You just wiggle it off. Has some magnets here to hold it in. So this is the back of the head. So what you would do is pop this one on if you want him to wear the helmet. So there's a little groove here. Make sure you line that up, and then it just kind of slides right into place. As I get made a liar here, and it doesn't slide right into place. There we go. As you can see, it's a very good look. This is middle-aged Hulk right here. He's lost a little bit on top, just like me. I know the feeling, man. But then what this is for, there's a magnet on there, and there's a magnet on the inside of the helmet. So then it just sits on there nice and neat, and you don't have to worry about it coming off. So then there you go. Why it's giving me so much hassle right now. There we go. There we go. There it is. Then he gets lined up in there, and then you have the Gladiator Hulk helmet. And the other head sculpt is exactly the same way. And this is actually a pretty damn strong magnet there at the top as well. And the only other thing is, if you may have noticed, as I had his head detached, you can move his eyes about in here too. So here you can see Hulk just had a really good time there. But yes, so you can move his eyes around pretty fluidly too. You don't have to really use the tool for this, given the size of the figure, which is really nice because you can really get them like kind of exactly where you want them. It's right there, very easy to move around. So now what we're going to do is take a closer look at the figure himself, and then after that we're going to get him into some poses and kind of give my final thoughts on the Thor Ragnarok Gladiator Hulk figure. All right, guys, so here is the big man himself. So, and as you can see, there is something I wanted to point out too that you don't really see on the other little individual pieces, and it might be kind of hard to pick up on camera, but if you can see like how he's got kind of a nice like sheen every once in a while, and like sometimes a light will pick up like little tiny individual like tiny pieces on him. They actually did like a speckle of, it's almost like they just like when you get your hand wet and you go like that, just like a very light dusting of a clear coat on him so that it looks like he's sweating. So like light will pick up on him, and it's really hard to see in camera, but when you're in person, it looks really well done. It gives the illusion that he's like sweating, and he's a little glistening, like he's oiled up a little bit, but it's very, very, very subtle. So it's just a very nice touch. You only notice it and it's throughout the entire figure. So it almost looks like glitter on him, if anything, like when you actually see it, but you can tell it's just like little specks of like clear coat throughout. So it looks really nice. So the thing is too with this head sculpt, it doesn't detach the same way. This is more of the clean cut Hulk. So you can see they did a good job with this one too. It's not as good. It is a little bit more noticeable because it kind of does look like his hair is just kind of parted over, but that is the seam there, and this would just pop straight up, and then you can put the helmet down on top of him, and you have this face on there. So whichever one you like, because I guess both of them are kind of the angry face, aren't they? He's a little bit more non-angry, but as you can see, again, the little paint looks great. It's nice and like a metallic kind of silver on there. On here, they do have like a seamless torso section and then seamless arms, but you do have the shoulder joint exposed on this one. It's not an entire seamless body, but you have it on the neck joint. So as far as mobility goes and articulation, you can kind of get him like looking back up to like here. Doesn't really go any further. You get a little bit of, his neck will move, but it just kind of goes about that far. Looking down, it goes, kind of to about there. And then side to side, pretty good. And you have the paint on here. Again, the nice metallic silver running down throughout the torso. Looks very well done on the arm as well, coming down. And again, this is the open fist hand to hold the weapons. And you can see like little things like even he's got veins popping out on his arms. It looks very well. And it's got a ratchet arm system in there with the seamless arms. And they hold up pretty well. At least this one has for me. Like I said, I haven't really had them very long myself. I don't know what kind of poses any previous owners may have had, with him in. All of the fabric here and everything is actually sculpted. None of it is actually real fabric or anything like that, which I think was a good choice because it allowed them to bring out a lot more detail in this, in my opinion. So you have a nice, this is all plastic, nothing metal, but it's all painted to look like metal, and it all looks very good. This is very vibrant, and this pops out. It might be popping out a little bit more vibrant on camera than it is in person. It is a little bit more muted in person. So, and the shoulder pad over here, try to get it all in camera. It's kind of hard because he's such a big boy. But, so then you have your shoulder pad here, which is, again, very nicely painted as well. You can kind of see, trying to get a good shot of this, maybe zoom out a little bit. Okay. So you can see they have it like, they have it dirtied up. There's some worn paint, more scratches and nicks kind of running all throughout. They did a very good job with it, and like dents and nicks in the armor. It looks very well. It looks very nicely done. And again, the colors are looking a little bit more vibrant than they are right now. They are slightly more dull than you're actually seeing on camera itself. But all in all, I think it looks great. On the back side, you have the straps going over, and they have these little individual weaves. I think it adds a really nice touch. It looks really well done. And again, same thing for here. This is not cloth or anything. You can move this around a little bit. It is independent, but it is sculpted. This is also a separate piece on his arm, which also has a very nicely done paint job. Some nicks, crannies in there, sculpted. This is not real leather or anything like that. On the back, the tattoo. You can see, again, look at the sculpt work on here is incredible. You can see the individual like muscles on his back, and then you can see like the skin fibers. And you can kind of see right there on the back too, some of that clear coat I was talking about that kind of makes it look like he's sweating and whatnot. Trying to see what I'm talking about on there. Like it almost kind of looks like glitter again. And then even on his shoulders, you can see here like this these like deep veins that are actually popping out too. So these ones are just actually painted on there as opposed to the ones like, right here that actually are sculpted into the body. So all in all, I think this thing looks really, really well done. It definitely, when you see him like in person, like he's a big boy. He's very imposing. And then we'll take a look at the legs real quick first before we wrap everything up. Again, down here you got some like deep vein stuff happening, almost like some like bruising up here as well underneath here. This is a little bit of a really soft, thin rubber that kind of moves about right here. And then the boots look really well. I guess you would call them sandals, right? But this looks really nice. As you can see with the camera or the lighting and camera hitting it for sure, it really, really looks like metal. But it's not. It's just sculpted plastic. But they have some nice, again, some weathering detail in there. The sculpt work on this portion also makes it look like leather. Very nicely done. And then the toes here. Look at them little wrinkles on the toes. Looks very, very nice. Nothing too crazy on the bottom of the feet. But all you need those to do is just have them stand up. So now we'll just go over articulation, and then we'll get them into some poses. So for the arms, you'll have it come all the way out to there, and then you will kind of see the exposed part of the ratchet system if you do that, but it goes out to there without any issue. And then, like I said, you have a full pretty much 90-degree bend going through there. and it'll come back down. There is a bit of a butterfly joint here, as you can see. It'll pop up and down just ever so slightly. And then with the armored section of his arm, try to get this on here. You are a little bit more restricted, but you can. This will slide up a little bit, and then you just get a full 90-degree angle there. And then, let's see. I actually haven't tried to bend this one the full 90 degrees, so yeah, it'll go. So there you go. You might have to look out for this armor and move it out of the way, but it definitely will give you that full 90-degree bend and then come back down. Then he comes down there. I wonder if this is like Velcroed on. Oops, so this actually, you can see there's just a plastic hinge in there, like a little divot that it just sticks down into. It might be kind of hard to see, but it's not Velcro, but it does appear to be a separate piece, so you could probably pop it off if you really wanted to. I'm not going to, but then as far as the legs articulation go, you do have just a typical kind of a single bend knee joint here, which will get you about to there. Nothing too fancy. You got a swivel on the thigh. And the thigh will come up. It comes up pretty far, really. So not very encumbered by the clothing or anything. Comes all the way up. Oh, you can see that he's got like a little bit of cloth there in his butt in between there. Interesting. So then he has a ratchet system on the legs, and look, he almost goes to full 90 degrees. Pretty impressive there. So the legs will do that for you. That's pretty good. I'm actually quite impressed with the articulation on this fella. Even granted, he's not wearing a whole lot of clothing or anything, so I would definitely hope that he didn't have too much of a hindrance moving, but I'm quite impressed given the fact that he has a seamless body, and it is kind of a more dense material. And as we've seen with some of the figures that have, like your Batman Begins with the full rubber suit, for instance, they didn't put the ratcheting body inside of those. So over time, they pretty much become statues. The joints get completely worn out, and you can't maintain any sort of pose or bend or anything, but does not seem to be the case for him. I'm sure this might kind of wear over time, but I mean, only time will tell. He's still, he gets the full 90-degree bend on his arm and everything here still, so I think they did a pretty good job with that. I guess the only last thing I'll do before we get him into some poses is go over the torso section here. They did a really nice job of making it look like his chest hair and his belly hair here. It's just painted on, but they actually sculpted it like into the figure, so it looks like hair. It looks really good. So that's just like, you can totally tell, like in the camera, it's like, oh yeah, he's got a little bit of hair on his chest. So now let's get him into some poses, kind of give my final thoughts on this fella, and wrap up this review. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the up-close look at the Gladiator Hulk figure. I've got him into some poses now, so I'm going to get those rolling there. He's up on the turntable. Going to go through those, give my kind of final thoughts on everything, and then wrap everything up from there. So without any further ado, let's take a closer look at this thing, at least pose-wise. So as you can see, the boy standing there, nothing crazy. He looks great. He's a very imposing figure. He's very large. He's massive. Looks like Gladiator Hulk. I mean, he looks good just sitting there not doing anything. Like, I love how this thing looks. This is my favorite Hulk figure that they've made. Like, the only thing that would even top it if it had a full seamless body, like something like that Hellboy. Like, if they do that, oh yeah, and I threw in, I know this doesn't really kind of crosses streams a bit, right? Different universe, but it's not as crazy as you think here, because I got Jor-El sitting there, so obviously it's not really, you wouldn't say it's part of the same universe, sure, but Russell Crowe has been cast in Thor 4, Love and Thunder, so they're connected, all right? But that gives you an idea of scale, right? Like, he's huge. Like, a regular 6-scale figure is like literally like as big as his leg, man. It's pretty intense. Got him here with a full Gladiator garb on, even with like the original head sculpt. Just sitting there, just standing there, ready for attack. Looks great. I love how it looks. The weapons, too, they're hard plastic. I don't think I actually said anything like that, so you don't have to worry about gravity warping them. It's not like a soft plastic. It's a hard plastic, so they'll keep their shape. And then despite, like, him being such a chonky boy, you can get him in some pretty dynamic poses, as you can see here. And he looks great. Like, he looks fantastic sitting there on the shelf. The seams are kind of unsightly on him, in all honesty. That's just by virtue of, I don't know, any figure like this would kinda do that. Like, the only way around that would be if he had, like, some sort of cloth pants on, but Hulk never wears pants, so you would really never get around that. But he absolutely looks great. And again, I love the weapons, I love the detailing on the skin, like, you can even see it there, just, like, the pigmentation through everything, the veins popping out, the nice reflective, silver paint, the musculature on the back, the deep, like, red veins on the shoulders here and there. It looks awesome. The everything looks just really good, and they did a really good job too, like, the, armor plating on the left side of his body, when it's in proper lighting, really anything that's on this figure made to replicate metal really pops when you have it under the proper lighting. Like, as you can see, like, the reflectiveness of that left shoulder plate there, just, like, it looks metal, like, it looks really well done. Same with the weapons. I think Hot Toys did a spectacular job with this thing, and at the very least, you have the seamless neck, you have the seamless arms, you don't have the seamless shoulders, so, like I said, like, some of the joints like that, they can be a little bit unsightly, but you could in my opinion, you can totally look past them because of what you're getting. What do you expect? You know, it's a fully articulated figure, you're gonna have joints. I mean, anybody who collects 6 scale figures normally or any sort of articulated figures other than statues, kind of already used to joints. The seamless bodies have really only became a thing more recently, and I don't really expect, I don't expect it I expect it to be a while for them to have a full seamless body for someone like Hulk. Just because normally, like, they make the seamless bodies for the standard 6 scale figures, but they'd have to make a brand new one for Hulk, so I could definitely see him doing it in the future, maybe if Hulk has some more appearances. I would have figured, honestly, the, and they may have done it, I'm not entirely sure, but the, Professor Hulk, essentially the smart Hulk from Endgame, probably would have been the best one to do because he's not like, he's big like the Hulk, but he's not as big. Like, he definitely was toned down a little bit. So, I mean, that would have been a good one to maybe experiment with if that's something they were gonna do, but, again, if you've seen the Hellboy figure that has the full seamless body, they did a very similar kind of, paint style and application thing as they would for Hulk by like painting in like the hair and then making him look sweaty. So they definitely took what they learned from Hulk, I think, and applied it to that Hellboy. So maybe we'll get some evolution of a full seamless Hulk in the future. Honestly, somewhat doubtful though, just because I think Hulk's going to be making less and less appearances in the MCU, but you never know. We got She-Hulk coming. I'm sure they'll probably do one for She-Hulk. We'll have to see though. We'll just have to wait and see. But in the end, I really love this figure. I think it's great. I'm still debating myself whether or not I'm gonna keep him in the collection, just because, like I said, this is the only MCU figure I have, so he's kind of out of place right now. He's fairly large, so I don't really have anywhere to put him either. Um, I don't know. I might try to sell him. I don't know. Haven't decided. Haven't decided. Let me know what you guys would do down in the comment section below. If this was the only MCU figure you had, like, I literally don't have any other MCU figures. I don't really plan on getting any either. I don't know why. I don't really have any desire of collecting that. I don't know if it's just because there's so many of them and it's kind of daunting, or if it's just because I don't know. Part of me also feels like everybody collects those, so like kind of takes the uniqueness out of it. You know what I mean? Not that I try to be like unique in that sense, but like I don't know what it is though. Too, I might be crazy, but a lot of like I think all the Iron Man figures they look awesome. Like, but a lot of the other ones I've never really felt like buying any of the MCU Hot Toys. I don't know why. Like, I absolutely love the MCU. They're some of my favorite movies. Like, we have a freaking show every Monday that where we talk about just we talk about anything in like the movie news world and like TV and all that kind of stuff, but like we prioritize a lot of like comic book material because that's the stuff that we're into. Shows Honest and Uneducated every Monday on this very channel and in podcast form. Look it up. But, yeah, it is kind of odd. I don't know why. I've just never felt the, like, need or want to get all the MCU figures, but I will say, the Gladiator Hulk and the Gladiator Thor were 2 that, like, I really, really wanted when they were first shown. Like, I thought they would be awesome figures to have, and he is an awesome figure to have, I'll tell you that. Like, that's why it's actually kinda hard for me to decide whether or not I do wanna sell him or if I do wanna keep him and actually get Gladiator Thor and just there it is, like, that'd be my MCU collection, so, I don't know. Again, let me know what you guys would do down in the comment section below. Should I keep the Gladiator Hulk and then get a Gladiator Thor so I can just have one display of just that right there? or should I just, cut my losses, not really cut my losses. I could sell him and actually, make some of the money back and then some maybe because they're going for a pretty hefty sum on eBay right now. So I don't know. That's why it's also kind of tempting. I might be able to sell them for a little bit more than I got them, or I could definitely sell them for as much as I got them. I don't know. Let me know again what you guys would do down in the comment section below, and stay tuned as always for more statue reviews and Hot Toys reviews, just collectible reviews every Wednesday. And I don't know which one I'm going to do next, so stay tuned for that. I don't know. I'll probably announce it sometime. I don't know, every Friday. Come hang out with us on stream. We do spoiler discussions for, right now we're doing like the Falcon and Winter Soldier every Friday. We'll give our first kind of spoiler discussion about that. We'll play some games. We'll talk about any new like Hot Toys releases, anything like that. I also do like figure unboxings and like previews. So if I get a new figure in, I'll do an unboxing on stream and we'll talk about that. So that's every Friday. We normally do around between 8 and 9 p.m. I don't know. I always post it like well in advance. So, sometime mid-afternoon on Friday, I'll have the stream up there and scheduled for X time. So normally between 8 and 9 p.m. So come hang out with us then. Again, we have our podcast, Honest and Uneducated, and our YouTube show every Monday, where we talk about movies, movie news, video games, comic books, and all sorts of fun stuff like that. And you can actually submit topics and questions that we will address on the show by emailing us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated@gmail.com. You find out any news topic, anything that comes up that you think we should discuss, think it's newsworthy, send it that way. We'll take a look at it. We'll discuss it on the show. We'll give you a shout out, whatever it may be. And then, again, every Wednesday, collectible reviews, so stay tuned for those. Thanks, as always, for watching, guys. And until next, like and subscribe, do all the sorts of fun stuff, share the video, all the things that YouTube likes. Do that. Do it. And then, but yeah, that's it. Again, thanks for watching. And until next time, guys, take care.